the job.
Bitch ass pause.
I've even considered doing a
What the
standalone
fuck
like
was that?
3-ton mini split or something just for that room. But I don't know if I'm gonna keep that room forever as my game room, so I don't wanna go plumbing that all in, so that's why I haven't done it. You could get a wall unit. And now we're talking about ways to keep your room cool, but you could get a wall unit, a window unit, something extra. You would have to create an additional supplemental cooling system for the room that your computer is in if you have a game room that's getting far too hot. So unless you're gonna go in and turn down the efficiency stuff, you don't have control over the
What's
amount of
happening
this is gonna be
right
generated.
now?
So what you have to take control over is how good is your room at dealing with the heat. So the things that you can do, insulation. Even if you only, say you're in an old home like I was, even if you only insulated that one room, you did the exterior wall there, however you do it, whether it's blown in cellulose insulation, or you actually rip the drywall off and put up the R20 or R34
Weird as
sheets
fuck
or
that
whatever.
this
I
shit
know it's
ain't
all
showing
different,
up.
it's Skyline. But anyway, if you put up the actual batted foam, you roll it in, and then you do attic insulation on top of it, even if you did it in that one room, that would be a million times better, because at least what you're doing is you're allowing the heat from outside not to penetrate that room. It will not change how warm the room gets due to your PC. That number is still an actual number that's going to exist no matter what. But you can at least take that load from outside, the outside heat, the sun.
Happy holidays.
You have to add an AC unit of some sort. So you have to counter the BTU or the TDP.
Fat ass pancake says,
You have to.
laughing
and it's funny
face.
how even British thermal units, BTU, is a measurement of cold for ACs and stuff. So like I said, remember, everything's measured in heat, not cold. There's no cold rating for an air conditioner. It's heat rating. And it's the amount of heat that it can deal with in transferring and turning back into cold, and the amount of heat it can move from the air. So that there's a lot of fun.
Today your
science
fat
that
ass
you can do.
pancakes come with a little bit of weed butter.
The only other thing you could do is
and
potentially
some
move your
nice
computer to a more
THC
open area.
infused syrup.
What I started to say earlier is I wish I could have
Fat
done
ass
an experiment
pancake
where I showed
says,
you how the room
whoa.
temperature is affected over time with the PC under load, and then take the total power of the system and then maybe reduce it and then show the difference in correlation. The problem is this room is, and where our rooms are, is impossible to do that with because our ACs are far too big. But I wanted to make this video to give you guys some food for thought. And I know some of this might just be like, this was one big major duh, but if you saw the amount of comments and messages I get from people asking why the room still gets incredibly hot even though they upgraded their cooling, tells me there's a lot of people that are not thinking outside the box. And they have to start thinking inside the bigger box, which is the room that your computer's in. Yeah, I know people are probably already clicking off this video because I'm an idiot. I mean, that's really it. I wish I had something more concrete to give you. Oh, concrete's a really good insulator, by the way. Actually, I say that because I lived in a lot of different places until I figured out how to adult and get my life together. The apartment I used to live in was concrete. And fun fact, if you opened the windows at night and got it nice and cool and you closed them during the day, that cool stayed in for a long time because concrete is an amazing insulator. You ever notice that even in like a hot warehouse, if you were to take off your shoes and walk barefoot on the floor, it would still be cold on the floor? I've done that here, that's why I'm saying that. I walk barefoot on my own concrete floor. I was like, I pay for it. I don't know where I'm going with this. All right, guys, what are your best keep your room cool techniques? I mean, I've seen some real creative stuff where I've seen people create vents that come off their PC and they have like heater hoses leading to the outside with fans in there to blow as much heat out as possible, which could help for sure. I've also seen what happens when rodents find out they can use that as a way in too. There's other things to consider when you do that. So anyway, I live in the desert. Rodents are a problem, okay? All right, guys, thanks for watching. Put your best tips down below for people to be able to get ideas to keep their room cool. And maybe I'll pin or favorite or heart the best ones down there. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
Don't shield.
It's the outline. So with the summer month, it's hard to say, the summer month. It's like Mike Tyson. The summer month upon us.
There is a new kill leader.
Buy literally anything else. That comment referring to this PC case right here from a company called Geometric Future. Yeah, and the name of the model is the Arc. Ooh, and you get a glimpse of what it looks like here. Definitely an unorthodox PC case. And in this video, we're going to build in it, or at least attempt to. Look, as of time of filming, there are only 2 reviews of this case on Amazon. One of them's a 4-star with no feedback, and one of them's a 1-star, what you saw in the very beginning of this video. I'm curious which is actually more true, because, well, as an average right now, this has one of the lowest ratings of any PC case sold on Amazon today. That's a tough one to swallow, but I want to give the Arc the benefit of the doubt. Are you ready? Stay with me.
If you're planning your next PC build, consider checking out our sponsor, VIP SCD. Their Windows 10 and 11 OEM keys sell for a fraction of retail and will unlock the full potential of your OS. They'll also remove those pesky activation watermarks. Click the links below to get started today, and be sure to use our special offer code SKGS for a sweet discount on a variety of options, including Windows 10 11, Pro Home, and more.
Yeah, this is it. This is the Arc. And as you can see, you can very easily toss it up and down with two hands because, yes, my friends, it is quite cheap feeling. I just want to give you a close-up here. If you can show them, Raymond, the jelliness of that, is that a word, jelliness? Look how flexible that side panel is. Is this even a side panel? What even is this shape? That's what I want to know. It's like a cylinder. It also reminds me of like the old school Mac Pros. I just cannot get over how much give there is in this. It's quite alarming. Not going to be doing this a lot when your build is assembled, hopefully, but it's still not a good impression. I managed to take one of these off with a couple of Phillips screws, one on each side, and you can see it just looks like a large open space in there. Your motherboard goes against this back tray, and you can mount fans on these rails. You got two of them, looks like good for 360 mils a piece. I'm not sure where our power supply is supposed to go though. This is one of the few cases I'm gonna need a manual for. I haven't shown Raymond this yet because I'm quite surprised by how we're supposed to mount this power supply.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's supposed to sit like that. Looks like it gets a bit easier if we go the SFX route, but then we have these weird, just like funky brackets to support everything. I'm not entirely comfortable with this. And they've so graciously given us this entire baggie full of stuff. I'm not sure if we're gonna need all of it, but we're about to find out. Just tightening down our motherboard standoffs currently, and by the way, I know it seems like I'm being critical right out of the gate, and that's because I am. This is $170-ish chassis, so I'm gonna be critical up front because of the price point. But part of me actually kind of likes this. This is like just so different than anything else I've ever built in before. I mean, just look at it. Just look at it. So it's been like 30 minutes. We still have no idea what the heck we're gonna do with this because there's so many parts incompatibilities, like size-wise, to worry about, which is a unique challenge. Some of you might like that. It's
Extended supply bin here.
and I'm also torn color scheme-wise because we got the white model, so I want to use like a white power supply because you'll actually be able to see that in this one. The problem is the only white power supply I have is a full-size power supply. It's not an SFX one.
Level 2.
So yeah,
What are we doing
I
here?
think I've got the correct bracket adapted to this power supply. We ended up going the white Neo Eco route. But it's gonna sit like that there. You actually can mount an ATX power supply this way. There's just, I guess, multiple ways to do it. Yeah, this is
What are we
fairly down,
doing?
apparently, and you can see just how much play we still have. Couple that with just like this. It's not bestowing a lot of confidence. Get our platform assembled. We're gonna start with a Core i5 11600K and a Z590 ITX motherboard. Then adding 16 gigs of DDR4 from G.Skill. Now, one thing we thought was pretty cool was the fact that you could actually remove this motherboard tray entirely. ITX, so it's only really gonna span at least 4 standoffs here. But you can slide this tray up or down. Now, this side of the case is the top side. So if it's standing upright, everything's going to be pointing toward the ceiling over here. But you have to worry about clearances, especially for like USB ports and things. And so shifting this high up, while it might be nice for cable management, is going to pose a problem when it's so I think we really have no choice here but to shift this all the way down, at least as far as this here is the platform we ended up with. It is, yes, very crammed. It's kind of the overall theme of this build, I guess. And here she goes, nice and gently here.
Target there.
Oh boy.
We got a lot of heals behind us.
Yeah.
Firing.
Believe it or not, this is how.
There's a
it's
third party coming in. I hear him walking.
To clean this up, it is quite cluttered already as is. Now we've got this fan bracket with 3 120mm RGB fans attached. And it's gonna sit something like this here. Whoops. I'm gonna tighten this down and then find a way to get these cables where they need to go, etc., and then connect it to the motherboard. It's a bit of a mess right now. It's a little chaotic. We're just kind of just going with the punches and hoping something sticks. Right now, it's probably I know you guys, it's just a few seconds, but we're talking hours here. It's like 4 o'clock. 4 hours.
What?
3/4 of that was dedicated to cable management alone to make this work, and it's still not beautiful. I've got big clutter of cables down there. We've got some cables just stringing across because I just don't have enough length. Not super satisfied with this, and you could tell that what's called Geo Universe? What's the name of the company? Geo Future. It's not a very memorable name. It's kind of a weird one. But yeah, you can tell they didn't really prioritize cable management really at all here. So we're kind of just haphazardly throwing stuff together. The last piece of this puzzle, believe it or not, we're almost done, is the graphics card. And if you want to get close here, Raymond, I'm a bit concerned about this area right here because you can see PCIe slot above. It's going to be a beefy graphics card. It's going to be sitting like almost right on top of this. I guess it's a good thing that this power supply bracket is like super flimsy, so we might need to smush things down to make a thicker graphics card work. You know what? I just realized we made a big mistake, folks. This power supply is sticking out a little bit too far. You see it now, Raymond? See the in line with the 16-lane PCIe slot? We're gonna be hitting this, like definitely. Any car with a back plate, we're gonna hit this power supply. This is honestly a pretty slim ATX power supply at that, and we still don't have enough room. So we have to go back to the drawing board again. Just gonna brute force it here, although my hopes are not high. Ooh. Well, hold on. Let's see. This is driving me crazy. I have like no leverage. It actually fits. Our power supply is a little bent in that bracket. It works. Oh, this is just, I don't know. I don't have a particularly good feeling about this. And this isn't even a big graphics card. Again, going with the punches. I think we're gonna try flipping this power supply around. I originally wanted to have it intake from the rear, but we had an issue with this bracket and it not fitting with particular aspects of this unit. You can see here, I don't know if you can actually get that on camera, Raymond, but yeah, we have a small issue where this piece right here is hitting that. So we're gonna try to work around it. Maybe I can just like Dremel it off. I don't know.
A few moments later.
And I somehow managed to pull it off. I think we have enough space now. The card, I believe, was hitting one of these cable connectors earlier. That's why it was sitting so crooked. So if we like get it wedged in like this and plop it in, that sits a lot better. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. And of course, PCIe installation has to be just a pure pain because that just fits the theme of this entire build. Although, to their credit, at least they give us a bunch of Velcro straps. Now, this little exterior frame is actually magnetic, so it kind of just snaps into place like so. That's actually pretty cool. And well, a bit of a disastrous assembly process. I'm okay with it. I guess the final product looks somewhat decent. You can see we've got this random like Type-C cable sticking out, and that's because we have actually a Type-C hub with additional USB Type-A's, your headphone and microphone jack, etc., that you can adapt to this because the case doesn't have built-in front I/O apart from a power button. So at least they give us that. Again, just a few other oddities you'll have to work around, but all in all, I am relieved to have this thing finally mostly finished. We just need to put some panels back on and cross our fingers when we power it on. Look, I'll be honest, first impressions, it doesn't look like a computer at all, at least in my opinion. I mean, if you really know what you're looking at, you can see through the mesh. I mean, yeah, you can see computer components in there, but this aesthetic is just kind of bizarre to me. I'm not sure who this would appeal to. I guess if you want to disguise a PC build as something more like furniture or sculpture or something. I mean, the design itself is nice in that respect. It definitely has a kind of cheap, flimsy build quality though. It gives off that impression majorly. And you'll notice I'm able to like slide this super comfortably in a bad way. And that's because we don't have rubber feet or anything on the bottom. This entire case is just sitting on like plastic, bare plastic all the way around. Pretty silly. for 180 bucks, this is like, this is a ripoff. I'm just gonna say it. It's not worth anywhere near that. I would maybe entertain this for like under 100 bucks if I just wanted something crazy, but no way that this is worth near 200. Absolutely.
Get ready.
I wanted to
Moving
power
out.
this thing on. Of course, that was the next step, and realized that I actually have to get the power extension things included in this case outside of the chassis itself.
Let's explore that way.
Plug it in, and to do that, I've got a Phillips screw at the side panel here, and this just sticks out, just like this. It looks like a tail. Right, jokes aside, here we go, powering on. Well, maybe it looks more like a PC, I guess, powered on. You can actually see the outlines of the fans thanks to the fans that we chose. Yeah, I mean, it's still weird. It just doesn't give off gaming PC vibes to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it does to you guys. If I'm totally off base here, let me know in the comment section below. This is all opinionated. But I've seen a thing or two in the PC case space. You guys have seen us building some weird cases in the past. This one's weird for a totally different reason. It hides almost everything and is not ergonomic and just, I don't know. It's just kind of ugh. Even for the price, I can't get over the price. Like I said, under 100 bucks, I'd be a lot less critical. I'm sure some of you are going to be complaining that I'm being too critical here with a company that's, you know, trying to get their foot in the door in U.S. markets. But I have to be critical.
Where's the other team
for
at?
180 bucks, there's a heck of a lot of case that you can get. This thing was kind of a nightmare to build in, and I'm a little disappointed with the outcome. The fans don't live in center. That's kind of bothering me. See that?
I broke one shield.
Anyway, I think that about covers it for this one. We're not going to do temperature tests or anything. I don't recommend you guys buy it. I imagine temperatures are probably going to be pretty fine with this since it's more or less an open air style case and I can literally reach my finger into some of the components. We don't have any tempered glass or that. Pretty much everywhere. So in that department, I give it a thumbs up, but everywhere else, it's just, I don't know. How do you describe it? Doesn't belong. It's so out there and not premium. This thing actually is. Like, this is a problem. It's not skating right now, and it just slides effortlessly. Yeah. Leave in the comment section below. Yeah, subscribe, I guess. Really selling the channel hard. It feels weird to like, hey guys, everyone subscribe. I really hate this case, but subscribe anyway, and give the video a thumbs up if you don't like the case. I think that's gonna work out. And stay tuned for the next one. We're done. My name is Greg.
It's actually here.
Just a scrape. 1 second. Just give my shields a recharge.
I mean, get up and do something at least. Jesus Christ, how many times I gotta pick you up?
Nothing hurts more than a centipede in the ear. No, that happened to me last week. No way. My life. Wait.
What are you saying?
Are you okay? Cough it out. Do you need water? Do you need a drink? Wait, what did you Oh my god. someone's eating. Are you okay, Jan?
She's like,
Wait, she actually was like straight up choking. She's okay. She's okay.
pretty funny.
She's okay.
No, Chad, she's fine. Trust me.
She's
I mean,
fine,
it
she's
wasn't
fine.
that funny. You guys have fun.
It's a blast. I'm having a good time.
I'm actively having fun right now. I know it sounds like I'm not. Well, I meant that. I'm having a good time.
Dude, nice.
When I'm lonely, I'll replay this VOD by myself.
Or you guys can
Or
just...
we could just play Mario Party.
Okay, that too. Sorry. Yeah, that makes sense. What if you guys are busy?
I'm not busy. Please, I'm down.
Okay, I like that. What if it's 4 a.m. though and you guys are asleep and I want to pretend that
There's
you
no
guys are playing with me?
way you're.
You can call. I'll be there. I'll
You
be...
won't. What if you don't pick up?
Then just, my
And
Apple
then what
Watch.
if you message me and say stop calling?
That's probably Synac on my computer. I would never say that. Are you good?
Today's not gonna be
Yeah,
I didn't realize. I didn't realize. I was getting mixed signals because like the last.
I'm not gonna lie.
We'll get along beautifully.
Okay, I do
Just
lie.
don't
But
touch
not
my
this time.
things.
The Humble Snap Knife is actually one of the more underrated tools that you can get both as a DIYer and even as a professional. There's a few things on here, a few little features that a lot of people just aren't aware of, and I think if I show you these, you'll be pretty impressed with what this thing can do. And just to make sure we're on the same page, this is one of these knives that has these snap blades on it. The blades have little diagonal score lines all along them, and you can just snap off one section at a time, and the one that's left behind is a fresh, sharp blade. So you always have a sharp knife, which is really cool in and of itself. These have been around for 60 plus years, and there's also different versions. Like you've got your little almost disposable size ones like this, and these are pretty great. Even just these small guys can be the perfect tool for certain jobs. What I didn't realize is that you can buy some heavier duty, more pro versions like this Fiskars Pro, and this one is no joke. I mean, this is a big, serious knife. It's got a lot of really cool features that even some of these smaller ones do not have in them. It's pretty impressive. I'm going to share with you why you might want to use something
Well, who
like
dropped
this
us
for
here?
certain jobs and situations over a traditional pocket knife like this. Like this is my everyday carry. This is the Milwaukee Fastback 1505, and it makes me feel a little bit like Karate Kid tough guy, you know, with its quick action like this. It's got screwdrivers built in, bottle openers, and other cool stuff, or certainly a utility knife like this one here. So I'll show you why the snap knives really are probably the better bet for a lot of different situations. Let's start by covering two of the basics here, and the first is the fact that you can snap these off. So let's say I'm cutting a piece of paper like this, and it just isn't as sharp as I want it to be. This one's actually pretty decently sharp, but let's say I want to break this off and just have a fresh blade there. You see the little score line right there so that the blade protrudes just enough to expose that line there. Then you can take some pliers and snap it off like that. It breaks off because of that score line, and then you've got a fresh blade right here. That tip is going to be nice and sharp, and you're ready to cut whatever you need to with that, which is great. So that's one thing. The other thing is to make sure you're always locking these in place. Almost all of these have some form of locking mechanism. So on this one, the little button that goes along top here can be slid back, separated from the front one, and once you do that, then the blade isn't going to go anywhere. So I can grab this and it's locked in place now, whereas if I leave it together like this, then I can grab it by the blade and move it, and that's not what we want while we're applying pressure on that blade. So moving into some of the cooler things that a lot of these have, let's look at one of these other ones, even though this one has it too. Right here at the end, you'll see that little opening at the bottom there. That's actually a blade snapping tool. So let's take a look, for example, at this guy here. This is one of our larger ones. On this one here, you have to take this one off by sliding it up, and it's not very intuitive, honestly, but slide that up there, and then you've got the little blade break-off piece right here. You can see the little slit. So on this one, we can kind of wedge that into the little crack right there, and then just give a little pressure one way or the other. Snaps off. Got that extra little piece. We'll talk more about what to do with these in just a minute. But then once you've got that out of there, you can just flip it around, slide this guy back in, and then you're ready to go, and you've got your new blade there. So a lot of these have this built-in break-off piece right here. There's one on there. This cheaper one here, for example, just requires you to push in this little tab. Now you may have noticed something when I slid this piece off, and that is that there's this little black tab here. Not all of them have this, but this one's pretty cool. So what it is you pull this out, look at that. You've got several extra blades in there. Looks like there's a couple on here. And these typically, these blades will have anywhere from about 7 to 13 different sections for you to use as many as you want. So just keep an eye on that. Sometimes you're gonna have some extra blades right in there, ready to go for you. Or there's at least an empty space back in here that you can use to store some extra blades sometimes. So just be sure to check your snap knife to see if you've got something like that
tons of weight inside there. Another feature you may have noticed when I pulled these out before is that there's a little notch taken out right here. That little notch is at the first section of each one, and then if you look at the back, usually you're going to find a kind of a corresponding shape right here. If we put a couple of these up against each other, there we go, typically you're going to see they create the same shape, and this is how they're stamped at the manufacturers, and that does a couple of things for us. One, it lets us know that this is a fresh and unused blade right here. This has all of the sections available for us, and none of these have been snapped off, so this one's new and ready to use. So that's the first thing, is it's an indicator there. But a lot of people have found some clever ways to use these as well. For example, let's say you don't have a pair of wire strippers handy. This is a perfect little spot to use that little notch there. So I can extend this out, and I'm just going to score along my wire here with a nice sharp blade. And then once I've got that scored like so, I can use the back of that little notch there to hold that in place, and then pull out my wire, and it's nice and clean. So that's a great thing, that it's not sharpened there at all, and it's dull, and it's ready to just hold something down if you want it to. Back on the topic of these blade snappers like this one here, and that most of these tools have built into them, there's actually some pretty clever engineering going on with some of these newer tools. Like Lennox, for example, makes a version that you can actually snap off with the built-in snapping mechanism right up front. So you don't have to take anything apart, you just pop up the lever, snap it off, push the lever back down, and you're good to go. So that's a pretty cool one. Another one that I'm really seeing a lot more, that I think is one of the more useful things that so many people don't know that is an option out there, are different sort of holsters or different disposal units for these. Another really cool feature that I'm seeing on a lot of knives is either a separate accessory or a built-in way to handle that. So besides what the Lennox has with the built-in snap-off, this Fiskars, for example, has this little compartment that snaps out, and this is a two-fold operation here. One, as you can see, we've got the little slit in there, which is awesome. That means I can take off a section like this, and then I can pop it in, and then just snap this off. And there we go, I've got a fresh section in there. Now the best part is, this is a little compartment here. So that will go down in there. There we go. And then that stays inside this little container here, where it's out of the way and it's totally safe. And then I can push this right back into the knife, and I'm ready to go again with a nice fresh blade right on here, which is awesome. So I really love how that's totally built in. There's nothing to deal with, nothing separate, and you don't have to worry about those little pieces or shards, metal blades hanging around the workspace that you're in. So that's pretty awesome. Other blades like the Fiskars Pro has a much more sophisticated way to keep things in place. First of all, it does it automatically. So if I pop the blade out like this, it's actually not going to move, or at least not retract, with just pushing on it, pulling on it. I can push really hard on this and it is not going anywhere. It'll wobble a little bit though, and that's because I haven't tightened down the dial on the back here. What this dial does, as I lock this in place here, now the knife is going to be completely stable. It's not going anywhere at all. I can't shake it, I can't move it or rattle it. And then when I let go and unwind that, now I still can't move it here, other than the rattling, but now I can use my thumb switch to retract the blade completely. Because most blades don't have that built in, you can also get something like this. This is made by the company Olfa. Olfa is actually the company that invented the snap knife, so this is definitely one worth taking a look at. They invented this back in 1956. Not this, but the snap knife in general, based on shards of glass and break-off chunks or squares of chocolate bars. Actually. So this one you can seal up like this when you're not using it, or you can pop it open, it snaps into place, and then in here you can attach this to your hip, and you've basically got two places where you can break off the blade and it will drop down into this compartment. Then when you want to, you can open up the compartment and you've got all your pieces in there that you can empty out somewhere safe. So this is one of my favorite little accessories if you're doing a lot of this, especially if you're doing this somewhere out on a job. Like for example, if you're doing a lot of roofing and you're having to cut around the different exits on the roof and different things like that, then you can keep one of these handy. You always have a sharp knife, and you've got a place to keep those.
I have no idea what you
without
guys
worrying
were
about them getting in
smoking.
the way. Just a reminder to always think safety first when it comes to these sharp blades like this. These things are going to be sharp all the time. I had an incident using something similar to this when I was a kid, and that's what resulted in this scar that you see here. I was making a cardboard house, like a little refrigerator box kind of house for my sisters, and when I was doing that, I had my hand in the wrong place. I slipped and then just sliced that open, had to get a bunch of stitches. So not a cool experience, and something I've had all my life. So just remember, keep your hands out of the way and make sure you're staying safe. Besides just always having a sharp blade ready at your fingertips, the other reason that these are really popular is because sometimes the knife gets gooed up. It gets gunk on it, and it's just got some nasty tape or adhesive or sealant or different things on there. So with this, you're just breaking off each section as you need to so that you've always got a fresh blade. So if you're cutting a lot of packing tape or opening a lot of boxes, if you're cutting through maybe some thin or medium gauge cardboard or something like this where the little debris gets stuck on there, for example, if you're doing some flush cutting, that's another cool feature that these have is how often are you able to actually get that much blade out of something. If you try this with a Milwaukee Fastback, for example, you can get that much blade. You've got maybe an inch and a half. That's all you have to work with. Whereas with this guy, while they don't recommend having your blade out like this, especially in there are certain circumstances where this makes sense. And when you've got this whole large blade, you can cut something along and things like that, and get debris in certain areas. The other thing with this is this is perfect for cutting like 2-inch rigid foam board or something like that, where you just need a deeper blade to be able to cut through. This is perfect for that sort of application as well. If you are doing any sort of scrapping, if you're doing some crafting, some carving, there's a reason these are often called hobby knives, because we use these for all sorts of hobbies. So just keep in mind all of the cool features that something like this has the next time you're looking at a knife, whether it's a fancy one like this, kind of a generic middle of the line one like this, or even these cheapos actually do a pretty decent job and still have most of the features that we're seeing on these other ones. Especially if you pair them with some sort of disposal unit that will safely allow you to break these little bits off. If you want to check out some of the reasons the Milwaukee Fastback is the knife I go to most, even oftentimes over the snap knives, you can check that video out right here. I'm Nils with Learn to DIY. Thanks for watching.
I'm gonna try to drink it. I don't think this is a good idea. Why is it so scary? Okay, I'm literally on the smallest lever, like the tiniest dot, and it's so scary. Okay, it hurts. Okay, ready? I feel like this is a horrible idea. Okay. What am I doing with my life? I can't do this. Okay, there's like maybe I could like fill up the water.
Either you fight with me and
Hiding inside this box is an absolute marvel of engineering.
Let me go to my watch later playlist. We'll restart this.
Brownsville, Texas, February 1860. They come from Austin and San Antonio, from Galveston and Houston, bringing their guns at the orders of their leader, George W. Bickley. Meeting at the Rio Grande, these men exchange secret handshakes and passwords, learning who is a Knight of the Iron Hand or a Knight of the True Faith, solidifying their roles for the expedition. For soon, they will invade Mexico and conquer it, completing the first step in a plan to create a new empire greater than Rome, a super-state stretching from a lucrative ring of Americanized slaves, forever. The Knights of the Golden Circle. Kinda. Thanks so much to Ground News for sponsoring today's historical tale. Welcome back, Adepts. Are you ready to continue your journey and advance to a higher circle of knowledge? Because if so, you'll be granted the rank of Quill Bearer in the Ordo Extra Historia! Sorry, that never gets old for me. This week, we will unveil to you the Knights of the Golden Circle, a secret organization that tried to create a terrible new world order in the years leading up to the American Civil War. Now, to anyone who'd had dealings with him, it was generally known that its leader, George W. Bickley, wasn't really a man to be trusted. His checkered work history had included stints as a journalist, quack doctor, and shadiest of all, an amateur historian and novelist. Sorry, Rob. But that history didn't seem to faze anyone when on July 4th, 1854, he and a group of companions in Lexington, Kentucky, formed the Knights of the Golden Circle, an organization whose goal was as ambitious as it was grandiose. Bickley's plan was to found a vast transnational
I could use the backpack.
a golden circle of slavery that would stretch from the southern United States
I could
through
use
Mexico and across the Caribbean to the northern coast of South America. This, he thought, would ensure slavery could never be abolished and geographically link the southern United States with the Empire of Brazil, which at the time was the only other slave nation in the Americas. Then
Here I come to save the day.
along the southern plantation model and Americanize that culture. But how to do it? Through filibustering. No, not that filibustering you might be thinking about. A 19th century phenomenon, best described as sort of private colonialism, where small groups would invade Latin American countries and try to take over the government. This almost always went predictably badly, yet somehow Bickley's ideas found support.
What's happening
It
now?
was most likely out of desperation. It was clear by the 1850s that American slavery faced determined opposition and might eventually be abolished or phased out.
Is our
But
teammate in a fight?
Mexico to the south, as one or more states, Bickley reasoned, and pro-slavery states would have a permanent majority. Moreover, should they expand further, these slave states could control much of the world's production of high-priced products like sugar, molasses, tobacco, coffee, and rice.
Are you pushing by yourself?
The human labor that produced them as well. Cuba, the port that received most of the enslaved people entering the Americas. Yet,
I definitely suggest not pushing by yourself.
so Bickley formed a secret society. And I'll give you 3 guesses on what he modeled it after. Did you get the Freemasons? Oh, all 3 times. 3 gold stars, because that's what he did. Pulling a little bit of Adam Weishaupt to set up an organization. 3 degrees of membership, each with progressive higher fees, and each order had a foreign and home section, based on whether they joined a future expedition.
Bro, I ain't staying there. Goodbye. You guys are psycho.
The Knights of the Iron Hand.
Told you from the
intended literally
get-go
be
not to
used
push
as the
that.
Order's foot soldiers. Cost of membership,
I'm getting
$1.
out while I
Above
can,
that was the
so I'm not
Financial
dumb
Order,
enough to
or
stay
Knights of
around
the
and
True
die.
Faith. They were the purchasing agents, doctors, clergymen, newspaper editors, and diplomats. You know, anyone who'd settle and run the new land or supply armies.
I'll try my best
Cost
to
of
cover you from up
membership,
here.
$5. And then at the top, there were the Knights of the Columbian Star. The select few leaders who
You got time to move. You can move now. Move, 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 move. Covering
Their
you.
identities were secret, even from most of the order. And what might that rank cost? $10. All of this, including the filibustering plans.
I don't know where his card
like
is, but
layers of
I don't
ritual
think we'll
and
get into
arcane
that. We just
codes,
gotta go craft him.
passwords, and handshakes. All Southerners of good character could apply, and even Northerners living in the South, provided it was clear their sympathies lie with the expansion of slavery. And in truth, there were many of both, because while Bickley's organization had stayed small for the first few years, in 1859, there was a membership explosion. By then, the anti-slavery Republican Party was clearly on the upswing as a political force. And in October, John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry, which you can see our series on here, shook this organization so badly
We gotta go back
that
there and grab
defending
him.
against similar efforts made it into the Order's vows. Meanwhile, a costly civil conflict called the Reform War had carved up Mexico between political factions.
Straight
So
back,
feeling
then
that
craft.
the time was at hand, Bickley stormed the South on a lecture tour to find new recruits. Castles sprang up in major cities across the South, all standing at the ready to grab their guns and head towards the border. And that spring, he sent out...
I already told you where I was going.
Well, actually, it was more
Come
like
or go.
spring-ish.
I'm
See,
going
all
to
those
craft
new
him over
castles
here.
made communication difficult, and some, like those in Texas, were closer to the border than those, say, in Maryland. However, the truth really was, Bickley had spent a lot more time creating secret handshakes than he had establishing timetables and communication lines, so the result was chaos. The muster
All right,
point
you got
was
him?
Brownsville,
All right, cool.
Texas,
Cool,
across
you
from
did that, bro.
Matamoros, Mexico. Now, Matamoros held vital
Map
port
show was spread
facilities,
out a bit
making it a
much.
good target, and many knights were familiar with it from the Mexican
I
American.
could deliver him
The
right
Texas
here,
Knights arrived in
theoretically.
February and March, making camp waiting for Bickley's army. Meanwhile, the northernmost castles were telling their members it'd be weeks before they went south. Basically, George Bickley threw an invasion, and nobody came. Eventually, the 400 knights at the border disbanded and went home. And y'all, they were furious. Yet at that time, no one could find Bickley. Turns out, he'd gone to Alabama and Georgia on a last-minute fundraising trip, but in his absence, rumors grew that he'd fled with the treasury. By the time he'd returned to the Order's stronghold of New Orleans, the city's 1,000 members had turned into an unruly, frothing
Did
mob.
you get him or
Angry at the
no?
lack of planning and money, they put articles
Okay,
in the
I guess I'll go
newspaper
get him.
denouncing Bigler, calling him an imposter, a liar.
This is gonna be rough, buddy, but you're gonna have to do this.
Knights from Texas came in to review the organization's books. Then that May, the organization held a convention in Raleigh, North Carolina to examine the expedition's failure. The conclusions cleared Bickley of wrongdoing, elected him permanent president, and introduced 3 reforms to make the next expedition.
Just land and then run to me, and then I'll heal you.
They revised their
That's all we can do at this point. I don't know
Nova
why.
says, thanks.
Second, they shook up the
I thought Dudesky was going to grab you when he got your card or whatever.
Paymaster and moving the headquarters to Knoxville, Tennessee. For a 6-month period, by which time, Mexico would be conquered and the capital relocated there. Good plan, very realistic. And third, they publicized their plans to attract more money and manpower. Their ranks swelled once again, and by October...
Here, bro, come here. I can heal you. Where you at? Oh, you're under me?
Members were mobilizing. Secret passcodes being exchanged. The liberal Mexican government was, supposedly, even in support of the plan. Bickley and his scheme were in the spotlight now. They had the men. They had the organization. Knights, rally south. It will not go like last time. It went exactly like last time. A few hundred Texans gathered at the Rio Grande, realized no one else was coming, and went home. See, Bickley never really created a detailed plan. Saw the supply of yeah, he wasn't a general or a shipping expert. He was just such a dude. Bickley then tried to drum up interest in a new method, but Lincoln's wins and the establishment.
We needed to go up that rope, bro. I thought you were jumping out.
The Union blockaded ports, Mexico, and specifically Matamoros, which Bickley had planned to attack, became the Confederacy's only route for exploring cotton, and no one wanted to kill that golden goose. Soon, even Bickley lost interest, resigned, and joined the Confederate Army as a double. Then, on leave, he was immediately arrested. The order itself.
What the fuck was that?
Knights in 1863. Which is not to say that the Knights had no impact on history. During the secession crisis, Knights in Texas rallied as militias in San Antonio, where a contingent of 150 joined an armed standoff, helping force the federal commander to surrender the Alamo and the city's military plaza. Many of those Texas KGC companies then mustered into the Confederate Army, playing major roles in both seizing federal property and the Confederate invasion of the Southwest. A plan so optimistic and so poorly planned that it would really do George Bickley proud. Some still would, in a way, live out Bickley's vision after the war, where they resettled in Brazil, creating Southern American enclaves in the jungle where they could still own human beings. And there you have it, Quillbearer. You have achieved this new knowledge well. But let me ask you something real quick. What do you think you'll do if the subject is a little more magical? Well, if you join our conclave next time, we'll be diving into the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And if you listen carefully enough, you might even attain the rank of Helios, which everyone in the inner circle knows is the most well-informed rank of our order. But what is their secret, you ask, to gaining this worldly knowledge and deep understanding of its various origins? Well, that would be the ever-updating texts of Ground News. I love Ground News because rather than getting conflicting information and sensationalized coverage from my seemingly endless social media feed, now I get my news from somewhere I'm way more confident I can find the whole story. And that's because Ground News shows you exactly how news stories are being covered and compares the ways different news organizations cover the same topics from all across the political spectrum, which I find super helpful when I'm trying to analyze news stories that my kind of out there Uncle Kevin keeps sharing with me. Stop it, Kevin! And that is due to their awesome bias distribution chart, where you can see all sorts of information about the various media outlets you get your news from. Everything from factual accuracy to political leaning to who actually owns said media outlet, that one I always find particularly interesting, all in one easy-to-read location to help you spot media bias and better understand your own reading habits. For instance, I just saw a story about how a man who...
I hate small talk. Like, I can't believe that people are okay with the concept of small talk. Listen, for those of you who don't know, right?
There's
small
a prime
talk
spot
is
for
this weird social contract that somehow came into existence, right? That said that whenever you meet someone, rather than asking actually interesting questions that would make an enjoyable conversation, You should ask boring questions instead, for which you don't actually give a fuck what the answers are. Boring questions like, how's your day going? So what do you do? Where you from? How's that? You up to much this weekend? And my favourite, lovely weather we've been having, isn't it? Which I think we can all agree, right, are really fucking boring. Like, seriously, right? Why do we do this right now? Like, can we not all agree that this boring stuff? I would love it if I was talking to some random person, and within 5 seconds of knowing me, rather than asking the usual boring questions, they instead ask, hey, do you believe in aliens? Fucking yes! Give me more of this kind of conversation any day of the week. That's actually really fucking interesting, would it not? But now, this is seen as weird for some reason. This actually interesting conversation. It makes no sense. Like, why would we do this to ourselves? Why would we make it that if someone comes up to you and instead of boring your tits off, right, he instead gives you some actually interesting conversation, you level it at the fucking window and take 3 steps back? Fucking why? I think everyone knows that any conversation about the weather is by far the most boring. But another small talk question that I think needs to be manned, right, is asking someone, how you been? Already one of it's really okay. Listen, there's no point asking you, right? Because you never know if you get a genuine answer. Because of the unspoken social contract that comes with asking someone how they've been. Which is that you have to say things are good no matter what. Listen, that's just how it goes, right? You just follow the rules, innit? Whether things are going great or going shit right now, you have to respond with a great thanks about you. It's so fake, right? But shut your mouth, just do it, alright? Seriously, since the dawn of time, right, in all of recorded civilizations, no one has ever responded to questions with anything other than...
Oh my god, how am I caught in there? And why don't you say something? Zero fucking communication. He's running away.
And you want a dreamer. Mate, my life could be falling apart at the seams, right? I could be $500,000 in debt to mafia loan sharks who are coming after me, right? I haven't slept in 6 days. I just found out I have breast cancer somehow. And worst of all, there's a massive spider in the corner of the room, and I have no idea how to get to it. Mate, I am at my breaking point, mate. Fully on the verge of a mental breakdown that will measure 9.2 on the Richter scale, right? Mate, I might just kill someone, because I'm about to snap. I am about to fucking lose it. But if someone comes up to me and asks me how I'm doing, right, my response is always going to be...
Weren't you in that fight with me?
And it's the same with you, too. Another question I get asked every now and then, right, especially from my barber, is, so you been anywhere nice on holiday lately? And me, the answer is always, no. Thanks to you, Susan.
That's what you get.
I
You
don't know,
try to
man.
play.
Holidays are too stressful.
That's what ends
like,
up
I
happening.
hate getting up early to go to the airport. I hate driving to the airport. I hate airports. And I hate being cramped in a small seat for 10 hours, usually next to some screaming baby. And when I get there, right, I hate being lost. Basically the entire time, right, from not having any internet on my phone. This is the one place where I need internet access more than ever, right, and I don't have it. Sucks. Seriously, right, how did people even do holidays before the year 2000? Like, shit, man, we're in the year 2024, mate. We're sending rockets into space and self-driving cars and shit, right? Why isn't there a solution to this? That doesn't involve me getting ripped off. Well, now there is. Introducing Saily, the new worldwide eSIM service that just launched from the same guys that made NordVPN. Click the link in the description to check it out, mate. Listen, mate, being in a foreign country without internet access on the go is a fucking nightmare. But with Saily, it's smooth sailing, mate. See what I did there? Thanks to Saily, right, you can now get as many gigabytes of roaming data as you want in over 150 countries, right, without being charged an arm and a leg for it. And not only that, right, but Saily have the cheapest prices compared to existing companies that already do this. Like, take a look for yourself, mate.
NL1CE
Across the board,
says,
right, my
"Go
boys
craft."
at Saily have the best prices. By the way, what kind of stupid name is this, right? Sounds like Areola. What the hell, man? Mate, that's just what the guys from the Nord family do. They give you the best services for the best prices. My boys can't be beat. And it's not just for when you're on holiday, right? You can even do it in your home country too, in case you ever need some more data. So if any of you lot have holidays booked, right, go to Saley.com/grade to download the app and get the cheapest prices on worldwide data now. Another one that I have an issue with, right, is, so what kind of stuff are you into? You got any hobbies, mate? Because no, I don't have any hobbies. Like some people have such
Head
random and
L1CE
interesting hobbies,
says,
right? Like
"You
horseback
gonna
riding
heal."
and Zumba and, I don't know, growing bonsai trees or something, right? But my favorite hobby is doing nothing. Like literally sitting around and doing as little as fucking possible. And I don't like being asked this, right? Because it makes me seem so boring. Like you don't have any hobbies. The fuck is wrong with you? Nothing! But now I feel like there is. So now I'll be feeling the need to make stuff up, right? Just to not seem so boring. So next time people ask me again, right? I'll be like, hobbies? Oh yeah, mate. Yoga. Oh my god, I love yoga, mate. Ha! Can't stop me from doing the old yoga. I'm basically addicted to yoga, I am. But then I'm getting invited to do yoga with people, right?
Head
And that's how I'm
L1CE
spending my
says,
Saturday afternoons
crap,
now.
they are gonna fight.
Doing fucking yoga. And I don't even like yoga. What the fuck? And similarly, just as bad, right? I hate being asked if I have any plans for or if I got up to much this weekend. Cause mate, no I didn't. Listen, right? I don't do anything. Ever. I haven't done anything with my weekend since June of 2020, I think it was, and I regretted it. I enjoy not having plans and basically doing nothing, mate. That's how I unwind. But saying this, weekend after weekend after fucking weekend, right, makes me feel like the most boring man on earth. Now, I've had people ask me this before, right, and I tell them that I did nothing this weekend, and they get this disappointed look on their face, right, because I don't have an interesting story to tell them. I said, mate, who do you think I am? I'm a normal ass, boring adult male. The biggest highlight of my weekend was I washed the dishes, man. What do you want me to do? But I guess I'll go to a rave and get arrested or something next weekend, right? Just to please you, shall I? Twat. This is why we're all so disconnected as a society. No one wants to talk to anyone, right? Because all anyone ever talks about is some fucking boring shit. Approach you at the bus stop and be like, hey buddy, how's your day going? Lovely weather today. Shut your mouth, mate. I don't care about the fucking weather. Mind your business. But if it was widely seen as acceptable to come up to someone and say, hey buddy, pyramids, how do you think they did it? Or if someone came up to me and said, fucking hell, mate, I just did some LSD yesterday. You want to hear what happened? I'd want to talk to fucking everyone. But no, mate. No one does that. Because we instead prefer small talk for some reason. Which is fucking lame. Seriously, right? Whoever invented this dipshit idea needs to be shot. And if they're dead already, right, they need to be revived and brought back from the dead. Just so they can be shot. Prick. Mate, there's not a single person on earth who enjoys small talk, right? So why the fuck do we still do it universally? Well, I'll say enough is enough, right? And small talk needs to be cancelled. So fuck your small talk asking me how my day's been or how the fucking weather is, right? I don't want to hear your fake small talk. I want to hear if you think aliens exist, how the pyramids were made, whether God actually exists, if you think a sphere has one side or an infinite number of sides. I want to hear if you think drugs should be legalized or if you've ever done LSD or DMT. I want to hear your dreams and aspirations, your life's regrets, your loves in life, your hates in life. Let's call an end to the days of small talk, right? And let's talk big from now on, mate. Or we can just keep talking about the fucking weather. Your call, society.
Yesterday, a beloved YouTube group made an announcement. It did not go over well. They ended up getting dumped on more than a Fisher-Price basketball. It is the YouTube channel Watcher. They announced their subscription-based paywall content strategy phone. It is the they make very well produced content. I was unfamiliar with this channel until today with this news, but I was familiar with their work previously, like before they were Watcher. But they've been crushing it, clearly. Almost 3 million subs, every video getting like 1 million views pretty much. It's all very high quality content. So then today, they posted this video, Goodbye YouTube. And it's like a really heartfelt video about what YouTube means to them, and it's very dramatic. You know, it's saying things like, if this is my last time on YouTube, what a fucking ride it's been. It's like the end to a 1990s action movie. YouTube, you son of a bitch, we had a good ride. That kind of thing, as they sail off into the sunset. But what they're actually doing is they're moving to their own subscription-based website.
The ring isn't really
So,
complex, but it can be a little complicated.
the strategy is,
Wait, what did I
they're
just
going
say?
to be releasing a couple of episodes still on YouTube, but the rest of that season will be exclusively behind paywalled content at WatcherTV.com. The video is getting absolutely bombarded with dislikes, and a lot of people have soured their impression of this group, regardless of what they decide to do going forward, even if they do backtrack this decision. It's a maneuver that just did not land. They went for a kickflip and ended up breaking both their ankles on this bad boy here. And it's pretty simple to understand why. It's the whole concept of the content you were getting for free is now no longer going to be free. That just always leaves the taste of shit in people's mouths. It's the worst flavor. No one likes a poop pop. So, understandably, a lot of people are voicing their concerns and their disappointment with this. Honestly, Watcher probably would have found more success if they made an announcement stating that one of the members had hit a deer on their way into work, and they had no remorse or something. Like, this hasn't been really a home run for them. They said they made the service $5.99 because everyone and anyone can afford it. When did they see that? I must have missed that. Is it in this video somewhere and I just am forgetting it? Because that is a crazy thing to say.
You can become a member of Watcher for
Where's my cat?
Support the things that we do here. So that was the number that just made the most sense for the show.
That's very out of touch. I don't know how I missed that. I don't know how that flew under my radar. That is extraordinarily out of touch. That face right there says it all. Yep, that one just got ripped. Fuck it, we'll do it live, I guess. That's going in the final cut. Are we sure? Eek. Let me lay down the reality here. $6 isn't nothing. Especially not in the current climate of things where everyone and their grandmother is making a subscription service for every single fucking thing on the planet. We're in the gold rush right now where every company is turning their content into a subscription-based monthly payment to access it. And I mean everything. If you want like a bag of beans delivered to you, you probably have to subscribe to the bag of bean delivery stork service for $5.99 a month. So this is yet another subscription charge they're trying to peddle here for previously free YouTube videos. That's just not worth it for the majority of people and just adds another headache, an unnecessary subscription charge that I can't imagine many people being enthusiastic about paying. Now to be clear, they're not like removing their YouTube content that's already up. It's just going forward, they're only going to be releasing like the premiere of a season on their channel, and then the rest of that season is paywall. Now, personally, I think it is a horrible idea.
It
Going
is
through their
Amazon.
channel, their videos
Where's
are
my
long
fucking
form
monitor?
content for the most part, like 30 minutes plus. And I imagine with their history working at BuzzFeed for BuzzFeed Unsolved, they've learned how to optimize mid-roll ads. So they're probably pulling in a very high RPM on those videos. I have to imagine that is already covering the cost of production. But on top of that, and I didn't know this until stream last night, they also have a very successful Patreon with over 12,000 members and 3 different monthly payment tiers. And just for the cherry on top of this money cake, Mr. Krabs style, they have a ton of merch, obviously, but the biggest thing is they do a ton of brand deals. From what I can see, they run a lot of ads in their content. And many of you might not remember this, I actually own a company that specializes in putting brands with YouTubers and running ads for major YouTube channels. It's called Mana Talent Group. And I started that back in 2018, so I know what these deals look like. So I'm going to break the magician's code here and give you a little spitball estimate on what I think they're making per ad. With a channel of their size and their views and this style of content, I would wager a guess that each brand that appears in their content is paying between $15,000 and $35,000 a piece to be there. Now I know it's kind of a wide ballpark, it's just hard for me to guesstimate from the sidelines what their deals might look like, because longer term partnerships usually have discounts per slot because they've done a long-term deal, whereas like one-offs or short-term partners are paying more for like the couple of ads they're there for. But I'm confident that none of their brand partners are paying less than $15,000 to be on their content, and I'm pretty confident that it's probably going up to about $35K for their more one-offs or short-term deals. So they're already making tons of money through their content. You were right. They just don't really advertise it. Huh. So they already have this, and now they have Watcher TV, which is another subscription service, which I imagine is going to run congruent. Or if you pay $5 here, do you also get Watcher TV access? I don't know. Is it somewhere in the perks? That is a lot of doubloons they are pulling in right now. They got 12,000 members on that Patreon, and some of those tiers, that's a lot of bones. You're not really in a financially struggling situation with this channel. I'm just going to lay down the brass tacks here. I saw a few people defending them, saying like, no, they have 25 employees, they need to get their bread because it's very expensive. I'm gonna peel back the curtain. I have more than 45 employees, considering I also have an esports organization which has a lot of players. And I'm going to tell you,
what the fuck?
Their salary is going to be significantly higher
Help
than
him.
their employees cost. And I'm able to finance all of that completely fine through streaming. And my streaming numbers are nowhere near as lucrative as their Patreon numbers. It's not even close. Theirs blows me out of the water. And I'm not exactly struggling with all of those employees for our esports org. To really drive this point home, one of our star players was $10,000 a month. One. And we have well north of 25 in total. And I was still able to do all of that through a fraction of their numbers here with what they're making on Patreon. And I have like a fourth of their RPM. My RPM on YouTube is about 3, and I'm confident that the Watcher channel is probably seeing north of 8 to 9 RPM on their videos, and still, I wasn't exactly struggling to cover all of these employees' costs. So I don't think that this subscription paywall service is necessary for them to stay afloat, especially not since they have this Patreon, and they have such a successful YouTube channel already. Now this isn't exclusive to just Watcher. There's been a lot of channels that have done similar things, and some of them have seen different degrees of success. I was researching it at the end of stream last night. However, all of the examples I can find of YouTube groups making their own third-party platforms where you can subscribe for exclusive content, that's a little different because they're not taking what was already free from that channel and putting it behind a paywall. They're adding like behind-the-scenes stuff, brand new shows, things like that, exclusive to that subscription tier on that third-party website. And for a couple of them, I saw that their third-party website was free with ads, and you had the option of subscribing for a monthly fee, whereas Watcher TV is only the $6 a month subscription fee, or the $60 a year. And it's weird because Watcher is already doing what those other channels do on their third-party platform on their Patreon. They're already offering like the exclusive stuff there for the monthly charges, and now they're adding another separate monthly charge for the content that people were used to getting for free on YouTube. So it's really just such a fucking mess. Now, of course, there's no telling if this is going to be a successful venture for them. It certainly doesn't look like it based on the reception here and all the tomatoes that are getting tossed at them. But with an audience of their size, they don't need a large portion of them to sign up at $5.99 a month to make it viable. They don't need a large number of conversion here, and I think they know that. But I really think that they're going to be surprised with how little will likely sign up here, because it is expensive. That's not nothing. They framed it like $6 a month is affordable to everyone. What? We all have $6 lying around. You guys don't have phones? You got $6. Like, they make it sound like it's basically nothing, when it's not. That's a lot, especially on top of every other subscription that people have in their daily lives. But I just really think it's a pretty dumb idea. This is going to completely kill their growth as a brand. it's going to be a very hard sell to people that don't know the Watcher why they should be willing to pay $5.99 a month to watch YouTube videos. Like, that's just not an easy thing to sell to people. It only come from a very loyal fan base that's already hooked on their content in this audience they built on YouTube, which they're now abandoning. So they're not really going to be bringing in new people, I don't think. Even with dropping like the premiere video on their channel, I think that's just going to frustrate people more. Like, oh, I really want to watch the rest of this. Oh, but I have to pay $6.99 for it, and I only get this? Like, that's not worth it. It just, to me, doesn't seem like it's going to be a good long-term plan. But I could be totally wrong. Who knows? Maybe people are, like, elated and can't wait to pay for more streaming services. I think that blows ass. I'm so tired of streaming services popping up all over the place like a fucking plague. It's like Hydra. Cut off one head and 2 more streaming services take its place. And now we're seeing it for YouTubers? Like, that's not exciting. Point blank, I just do not like it. I do not like Green Eggs and Ham. I do not like it, Sam I Am. Watcher TV, what a show. I understand why some other YouTube channels have third-party places where they can pay for more content. They're paying for more content on top of what they're already getting on YouTube. So, like, I know Ross Creations has one, which apparently people really like the way he does it. I know Sidemen have Sidemen Plus, so it seems like people like that as well. And from what I can tell, that's just giving you, like, the very loyal, like, ferocious fans more of what you already like. So you're getting like behind the scenes stuff, you're getting exclusive content that is totally separate from the content that they're already getting on the primary platform. Whereas with Watcher, that's not the case. You're losing what you're used to, and that's it. You now have to access it through $6 a month to get that same content. It just doesn't feel good. Especially because they already have a Patreon. Like, they were already doing the standard, which people don't mind, and I don't think there's anything wrong with, where, you know, your audience pays Patreon monthly fee or whatever, and they just get more content.
Get him up, get him up, get him up.
Behind the scenes, the podcast, the special edition stuff. That's value there, and they keep getting the content that they're used to. They've been providing for them for free.
He's so broken.
A fan in the first place on YouTube. I don't know, it just feels like a real slap in the face, and I totally understand why people are upset about it. I don't like it.
He went in and then he went
and
down.
I think this isn't the direction a lot of YouTubers decide to go down in the future. I don't really know why they thought this would go over well. To me, it really seems like some kind of corpo suit came in there, like a devil on their shoulder, whispering in their ear that this is the way of the future.
I mean, he was absolutely broken.
Subscription-based third-party services outside of YouTube. Grow your presence on YouTube and then abandon it. Try and take all of them to your third-party site where you can really milk them dry for more. It sucks. Like, that's just not healthy at all. Like, there's nothing good about that direction. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit. That's really it.
Banners. Hiding inside this box is an absolute marvel of engineering you might just find protecting you the next time you're at a public event. That's got a lot of people. And while this just might look like a boring old drone, it's actually one of the fastest in the world. It's autonomous, and it weighs 5 times more than is typical. Because the purpose of this drone is to lock onto a bad guy drone trying to do bad guy things, and then smash it into 1,000 pieces. Now that drones have become so incredibly cheap, fast, and maneuverable, it's only a matter of time before they're used to carry explosives, to attack key infrastructure, or even worse. But before you get too worried, there's some good news here. And so today we're going to take a look at all the latest technologies being developed to combat this very possible scenario. And then after we see how the pros are doing it, we'll investigate how a few backyard YouTube engineers would handle the same problem. And I don't want to give too much away, but it might involve giant dart turrets, Tesla coil water guns, and the world's largest vortex cannon. Now to kick things off with the pros, I headed down to a company called Anduril, who are one of the leaders when it comes to drone defense, where I met up with their founder, Palmer Luckey, who, by the way, you might recognize as the dude who dropped out of school at 19 years old to invent the Oculus VR headset. And right out of the gate, he set the stage.
The United States has the ability to defend against
against fighter jet attacks or bomber invasions, and zero ability control what happens in the first few hundred feet of our airspace. That's the
Grabs up there.
we have to tame the Wild West.
Palmer explained to me there are 6 primary ways to take out a drone with bad intentions, and every method has a major flaw except for number 6. The first
coming to get
is
you.
jamming, where you just overwhelm the drone with fake radio signals so it can no longer hear the instructions from the human operator and lose control. 70% of all consumer drones are from DJI, and they actually provide the equipment to law enforcement that will jam the communication lines. The second method to take out a drone with bad intentions is hacking, where you remotely hack into the drone using the radio signal, and then by exploiting known problems in the software, you take control and force the drone to crash. But Palmer pointed out the potential Achilles heel for both of these first two methods.
All they have to do
He's broke, he's broke, he's broke.
random drone, use different random radio, use a different frequency, or build a drone that doesn't even use those frequencies in the first place.
Basically, by using something besides the most popular consumer drones and frequencies, means this would have no effect. Method number 3 is high-powered lasers, where you basically just heat up the outside surface of the drone so high that it catches fire. And this works pretty well against plastic drone casings. But once again, there's a weakness.
What if I just hang a 5-cent pie tin? It takes orders of magnitude more energy to burn through a metal reflective pie tin. It just doesn't work.
The next method is a focused beam of microwave energy like an EMP. The goal here is to induce a current in the drone electronics so high that it fries the brain of the drone. But as Palmer explained, all a bad guy has to do to mitigate this is to buy some cheap copper tape from Home Depot, and once you cover the body of the drone, it becomes practically invisible to this attack.
He can reduce the amount of power that gets to the internal electronics from an EMP by orders of magnitude.
And that means a microwave beam gun that was previously able to fry a drone at 2,000 meters away now only works if that copper taped drone is 2 meters away. So now the beam gun is basically useless. Coming in at number 5 are nets fired in the air from other drones. And this makes sense if you're trying to capture the bad drone for forensic investigation. But net carrying drones by default are going to be slower and less maneuverable, so they're beatable with speed and agility. Now all this would be real bad news were it not for the 6th method that even works if you designed a super drone that combined all the tricks to defeat the 5. And it's possibly the oldest method of destruction known to man. Smashing stuff. Because this method is so foolproof, Andrew makes a blazing fast drone appropriately called Anvil, whose only job is to use kinetic energy to bust up a dangerous drone into thousands of pieces.
Imagine a children's bowling ball thrown twice as fast as a Major League Baseball fastball. That's what it's like getting hit by Anvil.
And so naturally, after hearing all of this, I wanted to see it in action. So they took me out to their test grounds, where they set up a scenario where a bad guy drone was zooming towards our position.
Thank goodness we got Anvil.
Now they immediately identified the drone even before it had taken off. And that's due to the towers you see here. Each tower has sensors on it, such as radar, optical cameras, or IR detectors. And then they use computer vision, machine learning, and AI to detect, classify, and track everything of interest in a designated area. It's so precise, in fact, it will actually identify and track every single bird on the test range. They call this software system Lattice, and it's the real secret sauce at the core of their company.
So what we do is we detect a drone, classify what it is, and if it's something that Anvil needs to go after, let's say you try to jam it, you try to hack it, it doesn't work, you now launch Anvil.
Oh, here it comes. Anvil immediately zoomed out to the bad guy drone, but importantly, it didn't engage. Instead, it just locked into position about 30 meters underneath it, perfectly mirroring the other drone's movements turn for turn, just waiting for a human operator to give the go-ahead to use its terminal guidance sensors to close the gap and attack from below, smashing into the drone at speeds approaching 200 miles an hour. Now besides just Anvil, they have other systems too, such as Roadrunner here, which is designed to take out faster and larger drones where you would typically have to fire a Patriot missile. But unlike a Patriot missile, Roadrunner costs an order of magnitude less, and if you just scare off the threat without needing to engage, then it could come back to be reused for another time. Ultimately, Andrew is taking the SpaceX approach to using cutting-edge engineering
I think we
to
should
make
just go
things
get in
way
then.
more capable for way less money. And you know they're doing something right because they have some portion of have their solutions currently implemented in a lot of different places.
Especially because I hear
Southern
people
border,
over here.
northern border,
Not
national
far from
parks,
the beam.
military bases, around critical infrastructure, around nuclear energy sites. There's a lot of sensitive places where you don't want to have no idea who's there and what they might be doing.
So now we've got a handle on how the pros do drone defense. Question you're probably wondering,
Shots coming in. Shots coming in from the south.
I think the answer is, it would probably look something like this. A 7-foot-tall, fully articulated mega turret that fires a 6-shooter barrel worth of preloaded mega darts. And so to properly test out how effective this was, I called 3 of my engineering buddies who also came up with their own ideas on how they would tackle the problem. And it sort of turned into a 4-person
Distraction,
backyard
get in.
engineering competition. So in addition to my mega turrets, their designs might include a fully electrified drone squirt gun, a vortex cannon that uses a real damage, a very scrappy system that does but for context on our bootstrapped Square Showdown, it's important that I first let you know about a super secret project I've been working
Right in the door.
on for years because ever since I launched Crunch Labs,
Good work. Good work. Good work. Good work.
this is great for kids to have a bunch of fun building a great build, but what about something for teenagers and adults? Well, I'm happy to say that starting today, that exists. And this is it. It's called Hack Pack. And it's basically a series of really fun programmable robots that get delivered right to your door, where we build it together and learn step by step the kinds of engineering skills that go into making the builds on my channel. And don't be intimidated because all these use a programmable microcontroller as the frame. Because if you can put together a Lego set, you can put together this. And it will work right out of the box. No programming required, and it will still be really fun. Heck yeah. Meaning for the first desktop turret robot, it works just like my mega turret, where the IR remote can spin it 360 degrees, and you can fire the 6-shooter barrel worth of preloaded darts, either one at a time or rapid fire, after which you just refill the magnetic snap-on barrel cartridge. And then for the next box, you'll be building this awesome domino robot that will follow any line you put on the ground and lay
I
down
mean, we're in here.
dominoes
Anyone got any
right on the
barrels?
ground, but then it knows to stop for a refill. After that, you've got this oversized custom Lego maker that works using just a Sharpie, polar masking tape, or this beautiful sand garden controlled with the polar gantry. But here's the thing that makes these totally different, and this is the real magic. You can easily hack the brains of any of these robots in a bunch of ways to completely level up the functionality. So for example, for the desktop turret, you can make it password protected, so only you can control it. And if your friend tries and gets it wrong, the robot's gonna let him know that. Or there's a party mode, sort of like Pie Face, where everyone sits around the table and it will spin around as it terrifyingly plays with your emotions. Or you can hack it so when your dad turns on the TV, the receiver picks up on that signal and autonomously turns to his chair to unload the full barrel of darts. But there's even hardware hacks too, so it can continuously scan your office, and if you add a proximity sensor to detect an intruder, it will give them 6 convincing rapid-fire reasons to get the heck out. And so all these cool ideas act as a motivator for you to check out the web-based coding
Should we
module
move
where
or
you can
no?
plug in your robot brain and make
Yeah, we can
anything
push a
up.
little closer. They gonna
And
be
when you're
coming
there,
down
you'll
from
see
there.
there's
It's
3
not-
levels. At level 1, the code is
Oh, didn't
fully
mean to
locked
start.
down, and you can only swap out the full code for verified new hacks, like the
Well, yeah, the
passcode.
top of the bridge
At level
is.
2, you
While
can
we
now
get there
change
now,
some key
in case
variables,
we're
like
coming out.
how quickly the barrel turns, or how many numbers to put in your passcode lock. And then at level 3, you have full access to
which I wanna
change
do.
everything. And since
I mean,
my
we're in
goal
the
is
center
to
right here. I think we should wait to see where this circle moves to. Because if it
there's a
stays down
community
here, they
where
gotta
you
push
can
to
pose
us.
questions, as well as an AI chatbot named Mark Robot that will check your code for you and help you implement.
Yeah, I got an evac as well.
I'm saying they up there
Each
fighting
really
right now.
slick-looking hackpack box that
Oh, I
can
guess.
store
Yeah,
on
let's go.
your
Let's go. You want a third party? Then there's only two squads left. You're right.
Yeah, come on, come on.
Video also gives you a new juicy nugget about the tools I use to build and code stuff, so you can grow your creative engineering brain muscles one step at a time. We put up the lid sticker instruction video for this first box, plus a 20-minute Arduino crash course on the Crunch Labs
One
YouTube
team
channel,
left.
so you can see for
In the middle
yourself
of it.
that we're not cutting any corners. Just like playing
I heard them over here though. There's still only 2 of them.
and making it simple. That's what we've done here. If you always wanted to learn to code, this is for you.
I know, I was
If you're
coming
an
behind
expert
them.
coder and builder, this is
they gotta
also
come
for
over
you
here.
because this is a community. So I'll absolutely be looking for the most impressively ridiculous hacks and modifications, and then we'll be sure all the other subscribers see them so they can be inspired to make their own hacks. And Hackpack is a great activity to do with friends and family, or even just by yourself if you've always wanted to make and build cool stuff, but just haven't figured out that first step. On top of all that, a couple times a year, I'll randomly be selecting one box in which I'll place the Platinum Diploma. And if your box has it, congratulations, because college is now free for you or a loved one you want to transfer it to. Plus, you get to come out to Crunch Labs and brainstorm some of your own ideas with me and my team for a day. So if you want to embark on this journey of discovery with me, just go to crunchlabs.com or use the link in the video description. We're to say thank you for giving away one free box as an early subscriber. We poured our hearts into these for over 2 years, and I am so confident your brain is going to love it. But supplies are definitely limited on this first run, so if you don't want to miss out, be sure to go check out that link in the video description. And with that, let's get to the competition. Gentlemen, what's the confidence level at? Here.
We have a surface bar closed.
Can I have a shovel? That's the sound of an engineer who has not got a lot of sleep this week.
I'm excited to face off my turret versus your turret. Your turret actually shoots things.
How do you know what mine is? It's right there. Oh, that thing. It's controllable with the Hackback turret remote.
No, I'm sorry.
Move it that way. Lucky for the boys, the turret got distracted as the first drone took to the sky, pausing at a height where only a mega turret could possibly bring it down.
I could absolutely hit that with a rock.
And while that might be true for the average person, none of us are exactly first to be picked in gym class type material. At any rate, it was time to see what this bad boy could do. Let me line it up, hold on. Oh yeah, that's looking good. 3, 2, 1.
Oh! That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you missed.
Dang it.
Oh, to the right.
Fire.
Oh!
This is the one. I can feel it. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Wait! What? The drone recovered for that?
So cool.
That drone is so much more impressive than the turret.
But lucky for me, the definitely not made up on the spot rules state that if a dart makes contact with the drone, you get one final bonus shot. The mega turret had secured
It's dead!
a mega hit.
Check it out, you actually did.
Yeah!
We just wait.
Let's see you guys beat this! Question is, which one of you guys wants to try and top that?
Me?
Oh, God. First up, we've got Kevin.
Where is Kevin? He's, Oh!
Yeehaw! Woo-hoo! Yeehaw!
Kevin!
Yeah! Yeah! Coming for your drones!
This feels like it's
This is
bigger
like watching an
than
unimpressive UFC fight.
necessary.
This is the VRAD cannon. Avian Defense Turret.
Everybody.
The crowd is booing right now.
So what, you scare birds with that?
Yeah, and
Like,
shoot
damn,
down
they know they got
drones.
it,
This
Job.
concept was
Might as well get it
actually
over with.
invented
I got 3, we
200
got
years
2.
ago
Come
by
on.
farmers shooting it at hail clouds in the sky to try and save their crops. But then they found a far less speculative application was just to shoot it towards birds to scare them away from eating all
Do
the
they have 3 up there?
You're gonna look so
Yeah.
silly if the drone doesn't get shot down with this thing, Kevin.
Giddy up.
And when you mix just the right amount of oxygen and propane in the combustion chamber and then give it a
It should have
spark,
been
you
dropped.
basically get a single shot rocket.
3, 2, 1, fire!
They getting ready.
Fire!
Wow, Kevin, real impressive.
Oh my god! And like,
Nice try, nice try.
wow. That looked like a really good way to kill a
And that's when we realized it was also a great way to play a game called Chicken.
Bring it on!
And if you think for a second we were scared to stand before this gigantic cannon,
Why are we doing this?
I mean, you're right. But what's even more scary
Oh my god! Wait! It's like a jet flying overhead.
was doing it over and over again until it found its aim.
Oh! Why was it? It's coming up towards us.
Oh my god!
I hope it blows your hat off and we can see what you're hiding under there.
Oh, no!
Oh! Oh! It got my head! Oh!
Not
And in our game of chicken, we were definitely prepared to get much closer to the cannon like these guys, but we ran out of jet fuel, so sadly, we had to move on.
This is my invention. This is a Tesla coil. You know when you rub your feet on a carpet and you get a spark?
Yeah, I know.
This is like a billion times more powerful than that. 3, 2, 1, Tesla coil!
And if it was a contest for coolest visuals,
Wow. See, that's pretty cool, right?
Alan definitely would have won right on the spot, but it wasn't.
I feel like that's not gonna get a drone. All right, here's my real plan. Salty electrically conductive goo.
Is that legal?
What in the world is this? So this is xanthan gum and salt. It should conduct electricity. That nozzle is gonna shoot a stream of goo, so when it touches the drone, it's gonna fry it. Well, it's just salty protein, and it's thick.
It's safe to say I have reservations about pretty much all of this.
Tesla coil on!
As predicted, the coil on its own had nowhere near the range to hit the drone.
Goo stream on! Oh! Oh! Wow, why is it so low? That's no good.
And it seemed like the goo wouldn't either. But after a little pressure adjustment, the electric goo gun made contact.
Oh, come on! Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
And it appeared like Alan had taken it out for good.
Oh! I felt like trying to be alive.
There was no way to salvage things here, so sadly,
Use your heel, Mark, in one solid hit.
this feels wrong. We had to put the little guy out of his misery.
No, Mark! Mark, it's still twitching again! I'm so sorry!
Goodbye.
No!
I said goodbye. May your microchips forever rest in the watery depths below.
And that's how you kill a drone.
The light's still on. All right, Will, I think it's your turn.
It's this.
Drone in a fog machine.
And special effects? I didn't know he could order a fog. But out of the fog, William's creation gloriously emerged. Sort of.
I want you to hold on to that.
Wait. And this was the point where I realized Will's drone had taken a sudden interest in what I was holding.
It's looking at you, Mark. It's looking at you.
Run away, Mark, run away.
And it was totally tracking me. Until it wasn't.
I did finish it just 30 minutes ago.
Will had very ambitiously taken the Androl approach of attempting to actively track the target drone. Ultimately, his hunting drone was using 8 overlapping photo detectors to look for a specific IR source on the target drone I was holding, and then it would keep itself oriented in the direction where that signal was the strongest.
You have to attach this thing to the target drone for your drone to know where it is?
Yeah. I mean, how's it gonna take it down?
By smashing into it.
Let's do it. And this is where Will brought in his secret weapon, Peter Schriepel. But to be fair, all Peter was actually doing was hitting the gas pedal on the drone at the right time. The choice was being made autonomously by the drone itself.
Okay, I'm taking off and then we're going autonomous.
All right, so it's hunting.
Whoa, it's going towards
It's hunting the drone.
Run!
Oh, 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 I missed.
Oh boy, it's coming back. Okay.
Go!
It reminds me of like Toro, Toro! But after a series of near misses, Hunter got serious. Smashing into the drone for the final kill of the night and taking a much-deserved victory lap. Round of applause. That's cool. Time to announce the winner of the Drone Defense Derby. I get to decide, since this is my channel. And honestly, I gotta give this one to William. Yeah! As much as I did
smell me coming. I was at Wynn and I
from
smelled
an
you.
engineering standpoint, is very, very impressive. And your prize, you get 3 hack packs. Whoa! Now you guys can, hone those engineering skills in. And so if you too want to hone your own engineering skills, or heck, even just begin to learn some basic building skills in the easiest way possible while having a ton of fun at the same time, be sure to check out that link in the video description to crunchlabs.com to get your free hack pack box as the early adopter special.
Boston Dynamics has released this stunning new Atlas robot, and a huge plan has leaked from OpenAI, with more serious and specific warnings than when Sam Altman was fired. There's also a major new plan to avoid our extinction, which actually involves accelerating AI.
Eliza Yudkowsky warns that AI will likely kill all humans.
There's some chance of that, and it's really important to acknowledge it, because if we don't talk about it, if we don't treat it as potentially real, we won't put enough effort into solving it.
But they're more focused on incredible new capabilities like this.
Backpack here.
Can I have something to eat?
Far ring, 45 seconds.
Sure thing.
The robot isn't remotely controlled, it's all neural networks.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
OpenAI is also backing 1X, which recently showed off these new skills. I'm not sure how people will feel about having robots like this at home.
Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and I have a terrible affliction in life, okay? I am Canadian. Now ladies and gentlemen, Canada is one of the largest countries in the world, the second largest by size, and the 10th largest by economy. And of course, one of the things that our country loves so much apparently is weed, okay? Now, 420 is today, and if you're watching this, there are probably some of you that are engaging in the unofficial holiday of the enjoyment of Mary Jane, okay? Now, I don't promote drug use on my channel. I think if you're gonna get high, the only thing you should be getting high on is life and the good friends and family around you, okay? Now that we've got the wholesome stuff out of the way, I want to show you an ad from Pizza Pizza, okay? Now, Pizza Pizza has a YouTube channel, 560 subscribers, and I shit you not, they have the Pizza Pizza pre-rolls. So I was like, whoa, this is a little shocking. What's this about? So, no, not even joking with you. This is a real advertisement. Let's watch it.
I've discovered a mobile respawn beacon here.
Bro, they got the fieriest pothead available for this one, Jesus. Now, to give you an idea, Pizza Pizza is kind of like the Bucka Slice. It's not exactly good pizza in Canada, all right? It's not the best. It's pizza you get pretty much when you have a bunch of boys coming over and you just need to consume food. It's not the highest quality pizza, and I'm sure if you're out there considering buying this, then you're probably already really high to begin with. So of course, I didn't just want to sit here inside my room and talk about the Pizza Pizza 420 roll-up. This is something that blows my mind at just the mere fact that it exists, and I thought it was so cute. And I looked at Pizza Pizza as a site, and they said, bros, it's only available till 420. Now look, Americans have the cool stuff like the McRib and the Grimace Shake and Popeye chicken sandwiches that are apparently made by God. But Canada has the pre-roll pizzas. So obviously, I want to give this one a little bit of a try. So I ended up leaving my house, and this is where we're going to cut to Muda in the car, and we're going to drive down to the local Pizza, and we're going to pick up a 420 pre-roll pizza.
All right, so today we are out of the gaming room, and we are going to pick up our 420 pre-roll pizzas, which is insane that I'm buying it. Like, it's a very Canadian thing to do. Having pre-roll pizzas. Now, obviously, Pizza Pizza will be contextual history over here. It's not like it's the biggest. It's not like you go to a Wolfgang Carter. Like, it is Pizza Pizza. It's kind of like the Bucka Slice pizza from like Cyberpunk. Like, you go there to eat pizza. You don't go there to like necessarily enjoy the best, most premium quality slice in the country. But it is Canadian pizza. It is Canadian American. And given the fact that they made a 420 pizza roll, it really tells me what the audience of a pizza really is, right? Like, you know, the kind of people after partaking in a particular sticky substance may want to just consume whatever it is. So, you know, to go out and get pizza, if you will. So I'm excited. Are you excited?
Give me my shield to recharge.
Oh shit, this pauses.
I'm getting shot.
Dirty going in and buying one of these. I feel disgusted. cents for a pre-roll, so I guess we might as well just do a little food review in the car. Since I hate eating in the car, I feel like it's time to do it to the meal. This is the pre-roll. Good! Alright, so it's greasy as fuck. Oh my, oh dude. Oh dude, this looks nasty. I don't know about this one, Chief.
Why'd you buy it?
This is it, boys. This is a good old pre-roll. It's hot, that's for sure. They got that part right. So I don't know how to begin this old fat one here. That's a great thumbnail, huh? There's bread so far. She's bread right now.
If you're with me, I'm with you.
Not bad. Is that you actually like? Sometimes it really feels like you're eating neutral flavor. Like you're literally not eating anything. I do not care who makes the kill. Like this is a definition of what Call of Duty must taste like. Bland. You know? Like it's got like nothing that would resemble a pizza. It's like pizza that would be made by aliens. You know, if they had no understanding of what like bread, cheese, basic toppings are. And I know it sounds like, but Muda, you're being way too critical. It's like a fast food pizza chain. Well, dog, that's what most fucking pizza is, okay? Like that's, even if it's fast food, even if it's like a $3
Your mind
like,
should be as sharp as your blade.
Like
It's
something.
clear you.
Like here, I can barely taste an olive, dude. Like I can barely taste the most saltiest topping on pizza. It's insane. But you know what? For $3, I guess you can't complain. Like, let's talk about positives, okay? It's easy to eat. You know, it's got an strong outer shell, meaning that it's not going to, you know, it's not like your hands. I mean, your hands are going to be greasy, but it's not like
Get ready, moving on.
There's some positives to it. In that regard, it's not too bad. I wish I had a green steak to like wash this thing down with. I wish I had gotten something. You know, is it worth spending almost $4 on a little rolled-up slice of pizza? No. This is by far at least the most creative, funny marketing scheme that I've seen, at least done by Pizza Pizza. They really know who their audience is, okay? You can even see they did like such a terrible like plastic surgery job at the bottom here.
The battle happens quick.
Must go faster. Next ring is far. There's a lot of olives here too, and it is like, I guess maybe I'm this, you know? Oh hell yeah, look at that. Oh fuck yeah, dude, look at that.
I broke one
Look
shield.
at that. Looks like Jabba's penis. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, that looks diabolical. You know, I've never been so thoroughly disappointed by food in my life. To be honest with you, I'm surprised they could get away with that. For $3 goddamn dollars, what they effectively did, from my understanding, is take 2 slices and roll them around each other. Well, you can look at that concept and imagine this was not...
Oh, he's right there with him on the stairs. He's right there with him on the stairs.
This was like the excess ingredients needed to like sell out. Okay, that's pretty much what it came down to. There was no effort put into the food for $3 goddamn dollars. Barely any fucking cheese. The thing looked like
Get it to me, I'm
thing
safe.
would probably be used as a fleshlight if somebody was willing and brave enough. And of course, the amount of olives I received weren't bad, but goddamn, they were scattered like no tomorrow. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen,
Tomorrow.
to be real with you, the only good thing I'll say is the bread tasted like bread, and it was at least somewhat hot. Ladies
The
and gentlemen, this is
schnozberries
Noodle Horn. If
tasted
you
like
enjoyed the fast food
schnozberries.
pizza review, let me know in the comment section below. This might be a this might be a swing and a miss for old Pizza Pizza. But that said, I'm just surprised this exists. Anyways, I am out.
All right.
Okay.
Boozley, say something.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, we need a cheer. To the nights we'll never remember, and the days we'll remember.
I'm not a freshman white girl in college who's gonna drop out. Some freshman white girl shit. Live, laugh, love, everyone. Let's take a shot. Let me do it. Okay, I got this. To the nights that we don't remember.
What are you actually? Is that fine? To the nights we won't forget, and the friends will never remember. Wait.
Why would I want to do that?
To fight. Friends will never forget. Never forget.
Wait, you just told me not to forget.
It's only over when it's over.
Walter Fuse Fitzroy, at your bloody service.
This boy comes to the zoo.
Wait, I'm actually in first place, Mom.
Tiger. When the photo is taken, he turns around, starts hitting the glass with his hands, and then something very interesting happens.
That sounds like a rap song.
Seeing the boy hitting the glass with his hands, starts imitating him, and looking at the child, the tiger starts banging his hands on the glass, just like the child. The result is a very sweet image. This boy comes to...
You look... No, you look like a... He's mewing. You are so mewing. That was your...
Let's land here.
You were mewing so hard.
Reckon we crash land this puppy there.
Janet, no, I did not.
Yes, you did.
I'm eating Domino's pizza and drinking Fireball. You think I'm...
Get ready, moving on.
A coil.
Cool, that's what I was thinking of. You look like a coal. So much cool, doesn't it?
First blood. Game bloody on, fellas.
Yeah, what are you guys spamming? I don't understand. Like,
Gone.
No,
Guess I'll give the
TDLR.
title to any old joker.
Echo. Play my notifications.
Morning notifications. From Amazon Shopping. Monitor has arrived.
Fuck you!
Hang on a tick, I'm crafting.
Two didn't long read.
Boy,
I do that a lot with the LOL.
Not far from the ring, half a minute.
I'm gonna just make sure, you know. Or he goes all.
Yeah, I go that.
Sana guy.
Wait,
Sana guy.
what does that mean?
Shaolun.
Is that German?
As it was written.
10 seconds. The ring is close.
Kat, does she know? Wait, where's that from? Wait a minute. Dude, my chat said that.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Yo, I actually have to
Leslie's the best shot.
I leveled up. Now, let's get an upgrade.
Why are you saying why are you saying Lindy?
I'm
Well, she said you're the best
upgraded and
fapper,
ready
I
to
said.
jam.
Why are you thinking? Well, she.
No, my shit stopped! I stopped! Oh my god, you just beat me! Wait, what? Mods! Did you guys see that? Why did it stop?
I am the best rapper.
Wait, I'm not kidding you. I used to be known as.
Got us a care package coming in.
I got that. I used to be known as like the guy that can do that fast. I used to be called Finger Kid.
It is hard to believe that just over 5 years ago, I was ripping into the internals of brand new Macs,
Target spotted.
looking to hodgepodge their fix together such that they wouldn't overheat and cause benchmark scores to plummet. High TDP Intel chips. paired
Bro,
with
there's
Mac
someone on my ass, but I'm gonna try to move out.
combo, one that created the worst
Roll
Macs
out.
decades. But then, in
I
2020,
moved before they could get to me, but I heard him right on top of me. He slid the zip line, slid back.
Incredibly excited to announce our
Crap,
first
crap.
step in this transition with our first chip designed specifically
Are you ready?
for the Mac.
For what?
And we call it M1.
Apple Silicon was a
I don't even hear
revelation
no one
of
out
an
there
inefficient
being.
and ill-suited form factor. Not only
We
did
got
they
another team over here
use
too.
Light,
Ooh.
but they launched with the
There's a team right here,
literal MacBook Air
and there's a team way over there.
on Intel just to prove not only is this we don't even need a fan. By the way, we didn't touch the battery side at all, but it's 50% longer. Frankly, Mac, same price. M1 MacBook Air. Enemy down. And M2. Like it iPad Pro proved that no form factor is too small for this masterclass in efficiency. from any company in history. More. So let's tackle why the M3 series doesn't quite match up to the physics-defying the M1 set. Months away from almost I've talked a lot about why Apple Silicon has absolutely dominated since launch over the years, but I think it can be summarized Number one, ARM64 itself is significantly longer don't carry the level of 6 that old Apple Intel computers. Memory models, a larger number of general purpose registers for parallelizable code, etc. Okay, that's number two, Apple's dedicated content hardware blocks, like their video engines for encoding and decoding, their Neuralink, AI, and machine learning, their Matrix code processors, other weird stuff I don't remember right now, and unified memory pools. All of those things handled specific tasks vastly more capably than a general compute CPU or GPU could. And then number three, Apple
I'm gonna try to win so I can craft us.
From hardware to the kernel to the operating system, even the applications running on that operating system. Total verticality that helped eliminate cruft and streamline efficiency. All of that work, that had to be paid for M1. So yeah, sure, M2 and M3 have benefited from that work in years to follow, but they've been iterative.
Apso says, no.
Limited, shall we say, in the same way that everybody else is.
No what?
Transistor density. Okay, so M1 launched on TSMC's 5nm process, and unlike the 1990s and early 2000s when transistor density and node naming actually correlated with one another, process names today like 5nm, they don't actually mean it, because there's more to chips than logic.
Apso says, why we fight separately.
It's all
I don't. Did you think that we fought separately? I don't know what was happening. I was shooting every person I could see.
Not just the biggest TSMC 5nm.
And there was multiple teams in there, in case you didn't
one of the largest
notice.
ARM chips produced in history. So if they're already doing that, they're maxing out the size, they're making them larger than they've ever been before. What do you do? You get a faster chip than the M1.
Should I go up?
Don't worry, I got a squad mate spanner. Only 3 options. Number 1,
Should I try to do this or no?
power consumption of the transistors on the chip, so you
Should
can
I
add
try?
more of them in the same envelope and die size. Number 2,
6*_Liza9 says, Udo it.
number of them, which makes for a larger die, greater heat, power drain. Or number 3, and least ideal, keep the transistor size and count the same, but increase the voltage of those transistors in order to push up the chip's clock speed, create even more heat. And
Trying to cover you from at least over here.
M2 did a combination of options 1 and 2. They were able to move TSMC's refined M5
It's time to move though. Get those boxes and let's go.
M1, while drawing about 15%.
Thank me later.
But then to speed things up even more, they increased the total number of transistors from 16 billion to 20 billion. But this increase, it didn't come free. I mean, do some shoddy, not really the full story napkin math, and the data would suggest that the M2 is more powerful
Someone's here.
than M1, running hotter and drawing more energy as a total package over its predecessor.
Apso says, see.
Get to me. Get to that zip line if you can.
Due to those higher thermals. So then what the heck? Why wasn't this more widely reported? Why wasn't this Heatgate? Well, because the M2's performance per watt increased as well, not just the total package consumption. Imagine with me for a second like a high-performance force, okay? The car runs hotter and consumes more fuel when it reaches its top speeds, much like the M2. However, because it's so fast and efficient, it can complete a race around the track much more quickly than a regular car, reducing the total time that it is running at its
Apso says, we fought different teams.
So while yes, the M2 consumed more total energy than M1 at its peak,
Congratulations. I don't know what you want me to say to that.
more quickly, reducing the time
Except
spent
for
at
I
peak,
will try to
and
do the
therefore
same thing.
maintaining lower energy consumption per task relative to M1. So I see you. You're sitting there thinking, well, hold on, more performance per unit of energy consumed. That sounds like a win-win problem. You, I say, man, sand. Sand, man, that's the problem. The M3 launched last year on TSMC's brand new N3 3nm process. It was the first chip in the world to do so, and performance expectations for pundits were high. I mean, doing napkin math anew would suggest a 2.8 times increase in transistor density. Huge performance gains. But then the M3 came out and we got a slightly better.
Guess we're gonna go work on the monitor now. Boom.